Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a 212A. It's a Tier 9 Soviet SPG. It's located on the north spawn of Erlenberg and it's under the command of Eric Granley 1. Now that's the short fat barrel, and that means that this is the 203mm howitzer. I know that because I've got one of these myself and I play it quite a lot. It's actually quite a good arty. He's capable of doing 1050 alpha and penetrating 52mm of armour, and it's got a burst radius of just under 11 meters with a reload time of 29.23 seconds. Now he's using food, he's obviously using a rammer, and you can use vent purge as well, and that really boosts the speed of reload on this arty. It's got a fairly narrow arc of fire, but it's actually quite decent, and it was proposed to be made from the hull of a KV-222. Now that's the forerunner of the KV-3, or it's one of the vehicles they made when they made the KV-3 to as a proposed hull. The other one being the T-150. Trying to get this T-62A. That's better. Nice. It landed right behind him for 415 hit points. He's now picking another target. You can see an E-75 there, but he's actually, I think he's turning and he's moving. Yep. It's finding a new firing position. I actually do favour the east side of the map if I'm playing Arty on Erlenberg, because you do actually get good avenues of fire directly into the town on the enemy heavies. The only problem is, of course, that sometimes the enemy Arty also knows that you're over here, and they also know the places where you might hide, so it can be dangerous. Up on top of the hill, we've got a CS63. That's the Polish premium Polish medium that's recently been released. Now, he did have a solution there, but you can see the red mark extends from the ground, so it's actually that's where the shell would hit. He's now looking into the town again. He has got shots on these guys, except of course that building there is getting in the way a bit. He's going to go for the 50 TP, I think. Rounds out. That's it. Right into his rear for 453. Direct hit. Changing spot again. The further east he gets, the easier it gets to hit some of those guys in that corner. He's just trying to work out where he needs to be in order to get the best shot. So it's up here that obviously you are fairly vulnerable, because there are a few places you can be in this corner, and of course he's knocked a tree down, which is not what you want to do, because that advertises your position to the enemy arty. If they see the trees fallen, they might recognise that that's where you are. But he can get a shot onto that object 430. He's very low on hit points, and so is that 50 TP. Rounds out the 50 TP. Yeah, he's gone. 212 hit points. He's got his first kill. In fact, it's only the second kill of the game, and he selected premium ammo for the next shot after this one. And that's because all these tanks are grouping together, and when you use the premium ammo, you get an extra bit of radius. Yes, you get 12.4 meters radius instead of the 11 meters, and that extra meter can make a huge difference in the amount of damage you do. He's knocked another tree down. Oops, and another one. Oh dear. Now I think he's fairly certain that the enemy medium that was up on that hill has been pushed back by his teammates, and the reason he's actually moving further south so he can get a better angle on these guys in this corner. He's almost loaded his premium round. He fires it in and hits the 257, and he actually wounded all of those guys there. He did 270 hit points of damage to the 260, 314 to the 257, and 35 hit points to the T54E1. So firing a premium round really paid off there. Plus, of course, he stunned all these guys as well. I think he's going to do it again. Rounds out. This time round it was only the 257 that took some damage. He's going to go for the Object 260 next time. They'll kind of block that Object 257 in if he does do that. Still firing the premium ammo. He's ready to go, but the Object 260 probably realised that he was actually blocking that pathway, and so he's fired at the 257 instead. Gets 344, stuns both of them. If you ever are in battle as an SPG, always look for the opportunities where you can actually hit more than one tank at once, because these are the real game changers when it turns to medals. If you're after medals and for maximum damage, then yes, Gore's medals, high calibers, Confederates, this is how they're earned. You box some enemy tanks into a little corner where they're all bunched together, and then you hit them hard with these premium rounds and you earn massive amounts of damage. Okay, that 257 and Object 260 are dangerously low on hit points, and if he fires another couple of rounds in there, I think he's either going to kill one of them. I think the 257 rounds out. Yeah, he got the 257, wounded the 260 at the same time. There was a genuine possibility, if he could have landed a shot directly on them, that he might have actually even ended up with a bombardier, but not to be this occasion. His attention's now been focused on this T110E5 American Tier 10 heavy tank. Sitting at the base end of that hill, he doesn't really try to protect himself, but he managed to dodge that shell. Only got stunned because the shell overshot and landed behind him. He didn't really seem overly concerned about the fact that he was in the open and vulnerable to Arty. He seems very, very lackadaisical about his health. Rounds out. Good hit. Right into his side for 436. I suspect he burned his repair kit there to pull back. And he's only got the support of a CS63. And that's forced Eric to pull back. Because if he gets spotted by that CS63, then the enemy Arty, and there is one, an M53, M55, will probably fire a shot in his direction. Yeah, that E5 is now looking a little more cagey about how he operates. Rounds out. Direct hit again. It was a pity he was unspotted at the time, because we didn't get to see how much damage he did do, but it must have been fairly high. And the E5 has now been joined by the E4. Now the E4 is a turreted tank destroyer. It looks like they're going to push on this side of the map. Remember, they've still got that CS63 nearby. Which one's he going to go for? I think he's going to go for the E4. Rounds out. Direct hit, 456, good strike. One of the things I like about the 212 is the fact that it does dial in very, very, very quickly. Has a very narrow arc of fire though, as you can see. So firing long range actually gives you a much wider area over which you can aim, but of course you've got a much longer wait before the shell gets there. Rounds out. Yeah, he got him that time. The E4 is no more. Now, we're only one tank up on the enemy at the moment, so it's still anyone's game. They've got the west side of the map. We've got the town on the west side of the river. And they're still trying to get somewhere on this side. And the CS63 went in too deep. Didn't have any support to back him up and died. Okay, he's dialing in quickly on the E5 as it pulls back. He's retreating. Rounds out. Lands right in front of him for 108, but it tracked him. I think he's had to burn his repair kit again after cooldown, just to pull back. He seemed to stop, momentarily think about it, and you could see the fingers flashing to press the right buttons to get the reset and repair. I know some people are very quick on the repair simply because they've got it locked to one of their mouse keys. Oh, that's a huge hit. 527. And the E5 is now a one-shot kill. He'll die from the next round that hits him. And he does. And the kill, in that case, goes to the strip 1030. So, now there's no enemy on this side of the map except for the Type 5 Heavy right down in the south. You can see how quickly it's dialing in on that Type 5 Heavy. He's loaded another premium round. Rounds out in the Type 5. It hits him. Eric's moving straight away. Sticking to the east side of the map though. He just wants to get a better position so he can shoot at the Type 5. They've got a distinct advantage now. There's only 4 enemies remaining. He has got direct sight of the Type 5. He's dialing in, getting ready to shoot. The E3 went up, fired his 155mm gun. Eric fires his round in. Oh, now that's a bad shot for a change. It actually hit the building instead of hitting the Type 5. I think that was just pure RNG though. He was directly on the target, but the shell hit the building. That's it. It's better now. But the E3 is now basically in the way. If he fires at this moment, when they're face hugging, he will stun his own teammate in the process. He fires because the E3's being killed and gets a hit for 469, and the Type 5 goes down. So there's only 3 enemies remaining. A Char Future 4, a Waffenträger Aufpanzer 4, and their Arty, the M53, M55. Well, the Char Future 4's been located. And there's only a few seconds left before Eric is reloaded. Unfortunately, he's on the upslope of a hill, so it's a bit difficult for him to get the gun depressed enough to shoot at this guy. But he's trying to work out where the guy's going. He's got to give a lead on the target as well, remember. And that's deep water there. He just went into deep water. He's having to hug the bank, otherwise he will die. And he gets a lovely hit there, 459. He made a big mistake going into the water there because it's a bit too deep for the Char Future, and he had to go up against the bank, otherwise he would have drowned. But they've killed the Char Future 4, and that means now there's only 2 enemies remaining. The Waffenträger Aufpanzer 4 and the M53, M55. They must be on the west side of the map because everywhere else has been searched. So we're now looking in the corner. And he's been asked to platoon with the 705A, and he's platooned. There's really no advantage in terms of getting a brothers in arms, but I suppose it might help the 705A if he's actually trying to complete a mission. There's the Waffenträger on the move, taken out. So it's just the M53, M55. He's probably behind those trees. He fires a round in and... oh, it kills him stone dead in a blind shot. So he won the game with the last shot. Unexpected prize. Let's have a look at the end of battle stats. It's an ace tanker for Eric Granley won in the 212A. He's had an ace before. This is not the first time, but it's a very good battle. He managed to get a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He got 4 exactly. A bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He got 20 in this one. He got a Gore's medal. That's an epic medal. He managed to get a Gore's medal because he did more damage, exceeding 8 times the hit points of his own vehicle. He got a Battle Hero medal, a high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, and also a Confederate medal for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else, at least 6 hanks subsequently taken out by other teammates. And his win rate from that battle was 11,658, which is very high Super Unicum stuff. So let's have a look at team score. Highest damage, 7,088 hit points. This is why I like the 2128. It's the ability to do that sort of level of damage very easily. It's very comfortable, and it's only tier 9. The next highest scorer was the 705A on his own team with 4,567 hit points of damage. So if he actually platooned so he could pass a mission level or amount of damage on one of his missions, he certainly got his money's worth out of this one, because combined they had 11,500 hit points of damage. The 705A got a steel wall out of that game. And the next highest damage after that was actually the IS-7 on their team. Didn't survive, but he did 3,081 hit points of damage. When it came to kills though, it was between Eric Granley. He got 4 kills, so did the IS-7, and so did the T-62A on the enemy team. And when it came to base XP, it was Eric Granley again with 1,495, which is a fairly high ace. 1,080 went to the IS-7, and these were the only 2 players who managed to get over 1,000 a base. The 705A managed 921, which meant he wasn't a slouch, but he was a little way behind them, mainly because Eric was just laying down so much damage and so much stun assist as well. That's why he got a high base XP. He fired 21 rounds in that game, got 10 direct hits on the enemy, no penetrations, but 26 splash. Yes, using those premium rounds really did have an effect. 7,088 hit points of damage, all of it done at more than 300 meters. He damaged 10 of the enemy, killed 4, did 1,683 hit points of stun assist off 21 stuns. On a premium count, he earned 80,411 credits, but he did fire a fair amount of premium ammo in that game, so his ammunition costs were quite high, and he actually made a loss of 38,870 credits in total. That's quite a high loss for an Arty player, but there again he did get the results, so that's what counts in the end. 2,242 XP, and no multipliers on this occasion, so that's all the experience points he took away, but he was very happy with that last shot, killing the M53, M55 with a blind shot into the wood. He just guessed where the guy would be, and he was absolutely right. He was sitting around the side or round the back of the house, out of sight of his teammates, but in a position where he could shoot without any obstructions. So if you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like and do subscribe to our channel please, and thanks for watching.